Welcome to Move and Restore week 1. So, just to recap a little bit, just for anyone who's new to this new session of classes, what we're doing is we're going to move for the first half of the class and then we're going to restore for the second half of the class. And this blended method I've created to tap into the two different sides of the nervous system. The doing side, which is the kind of the the sympathetic nervous system, the kind of not quite the fight or flight. I mean, we're not always in fight or flight, but it's the doing. It's also where creativity sits. You know, it's the organization part. It gets a bad rap because when we go too far into that, there is other issues. But it's the kind of balance between the two. And then the second part of class will be our restorative part, which is our non-doing. And again, that's the kind of resting part where we tap into the parasympathetic nervous system and we kind of restore and unify the whole body. We're also teaching our nervous system how to transition from one to the other, because often that can be a big issue for people if they do have very busy lives. They come to the end of the day and their nervous system can't switch back off again. So this kind of blended method is my way that I'm using in my practice to really help me switch off at the end of the day and to kind of, to accept the restorative parts of your day. And it might not always be on your mat, but, relaxing, sitting down, having a cup and meeting friends, just to be able to come from doing to non-doing nice and smoothly. So props that you will need today, you'll need your blankets, your 2 bricks, I'm sitting on one there, and your bolster. We're concentrating on this week on side bends. So when I get up in the morning, the first thing I actually do is just sit on the side of the bed and take a stretch, and that's it. And then I kind of, get on with the meditation or getting brekkie for the kids and things. But it's a lovely way to lengthen up through the spine. Of course, the spine moves in all directions, but I just find the side bends can kind of I find little bits of space between the vertebrae and feel kind of taller again or less compressed into it's like you're lifting the whole rib cage out of the pelvic bowl here and you're coming up nice and tall all the way to the tip of the crown. When you think of the spine, again, I'm not going to indulge too much in my obsession with anatomy, but the lovely curves of the spine. So coming into forward bends and back bends, we're kind of like working against with, but there's different degrees that the different sections of the spine bend forward and different degrees that they bend backwards. With side bends, it's actually quite equal. Down, it's like 35, 20, 20. And it's also equal, obviously, on both sides, whereas they're all doing different things as we come forward and back. So it's more of an equal way to find length through the spine. And also the spine doesn't mind side bending from side to side. It's not too fond of constantly bending forward and back. Usually we bunch all our forward bends together and then we counterpose them with the back bend. We don't often do deep back, front, but it loves a bit of side bending. Right, just one more thing to go back over. Now you can just look at me or you can join me for this one. I'm just going to give you, seeing as we've a couple of new people, my method of coming up and down from the mat, just kind of an easier way to get up and down from the mat. So from all fours, I kind of step my right hand over a little bit to the right to give me space for that right leg. Coming up even onto the fingertips helps, because really what you're looking for is space underneath you and to the side for that leg to swing forward. So we might even do a couple of rounds of swinging the leg forward throughout the practice. Then you bring that leg forward. Then you can bring the right hand to the outside of that right foot. Tuck the left toes under, lift the left knee up. Now you can step that left leg forward. If you need a little bit more stability, you place your right hand on your right knee and step that left leg forward and inhale to come up. Then the reverse to come down. You literally just place the hands on the knees, bring them to the ground, up on the fingertips. Bend the knees as much as you need to bring the fingertips to the ground, and then just step one foot back, ground the foot, the hands, and step the other foot back. But I'll talk you through the transitions. Just an easy way to come up and down. And, it definitely is kind of challenging to get that leg forward. So it's probably the poses are nice and simple. That's possibly one transition that varying degrees people can struggle with a little bit. And if you need any more help with that, very happy to help you through with that. Okay, we're going to start on all fours. And then we're just going to come into a few rounds of cat-cow. So just make sure that your hands are directly underneath your shoulders, or your wrists are directly under your shoulders, and that your knees are directly underneath your hips. So just make sure you've got a really strong foundation here before we start to work through the spine. And with everything coming directly from their joint, it kind of means that the spine is probably in its natural curves there. So we haven't come too far forward with the hands. It gives the spine that natural shape that is basically between those two joints there, and it'll be sitting in its curves. So even place your hand on your back there and find the natural curve of your lower spine there. And then notice how it comes up and then curves back into the neck there, the lovely curves at the back. And throughout our practice, even when we're lengthening through the tip of the crown, we're still keeping the curves of our back. We're not trying to kind of flatten out our lovely natural curves. There are springs and they keep our spinal cord nice and safe. Okay, and a few rounds of cat-cow. So inhale. You're going to continue to breathe there. I'm going to give you some alignment cues. We might take a few breaths in cat and cow, and then we'll flow with the breath. So press your hands into the mat there. Notice your pelvis tipping forward. So even if you want to bring your hand onto your lower back there, notice you have a deeper lumbar curve, lower back curve, because we've tipped the pelvis forward, which gives a nice stretch to the back of the hips there. The shoulders are drawing back towards the back of the hips there, and we broaden through the collarbones. So nice and wide, those shoulders are spreading nice and wide. The heart center is shining forward. The back of the neck is slightly extended, but we're tucking our chin just a fraction because we don't want to extend the neck too much. The gaze is just forward of your mat. Belly is soft here as you breathe. Although while the belly is soft, we are also lifting our pelvic floor. So we're really containing the organs of the body there and giving the spine a little bit of support with the softness in the belly. Reversing that, we're coming into our exhale. Lift the spine up towards the ceiling. Press into the hands now, the knees and the tops of the feet. Feel your shoulder blades spread and spin across your back there. Feel the lovely bits of space and the top section of your spine there. The gaze is somewhere between your hands and your knees, or wherever is comfortable for your neck. See, can you even spin the hands, or the hands stay planted, spin the eyes of the elbows there, which is the kind of front part of your elbow, forward, and that will help to open the chest a little bit, even in this arched position. Now we're going to flow with the breath for a few rounds. So inhale, the belly drops down towards the ground, the gaze comes forward, a little bit of extension of the neck, feel the shoulders going towards the hips. Exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling, cinch the whole waist in, so 360 waist here. Lift the pelvic floor. Inhale, belly drops down. Keep activity in the pelvic floor as you let the belly soften. Exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling. Press into the hands, knees, tops of the feet. Feel the shoulder blades spread. One last round. Inhale, let the belly soften, expand. Gaze comes forward. And then exhaling, lifting the spine up towards the ceiling. Okay, so seeing as we're working into side bends today, we're going to walk our hands forward. We're going to come into puppy dog with the hands over to the side. So we start into our side bends. So coming into puppy dog with the hands reaching forward, the head comes down between the arms, and then walk your hands off the side of the right side of your mat there. You can rest your right arm, or the kind of the side of your right head or your forehead on your right upper arm there, just if it feels a little bit too much to hold the head in place without any support. Press into the left fingertips now, reach the left hip away, or the left hip away from you there. Feel that lovely stretch now starting to create the stretch through the side body there, a little bit of space between the ribs. Press into your hands just enough so that you can walk them off now to the left side of your mat. Press the hands down into the ground. You can let the forehead come onto the left upper arm there if that feels good. Press the right fingertips away now and press the right hip back until you feel that lovely stretch through the right side of the body now. Notice that as you actively reach that right hip away, it kind of helps to increase a little bit of a stretch through all those little bits of the ribs there, the intercostal muscles. Press into your hands just enough so that you can walk back to the center of your mat now. Come back to your tabletop position. Okay, now we're going to come into our first little flow. And what I do with the flows is I talk you through it. I sometimes pause in one or two of the poses, give you an extra few alignment cues so you continue to breathe. And then as we establish our flow, we do it with the breath, and then I add poses on and we do it again with the breath, okay? Okay, so we're going to do some rounds. Start with a round of cat-cow. Inhale, let the belly drop down towards the ground. Exhale, lifting the spine up towards the ceiling. Inhale, press into your right hand, spin your right foot off the mat, so keep the knee on the ground, spin the right foot off the mat, reach the left leg away from you, reach the left arm up, so coming into gate pose. Exhale, pivot that right palm to face the front of your mat, the left palm, and reach the left palm overhead. So let's take a pause here and feel this lovely side stretch. So the more you press into that right knee, reaching the left ribs up, you feel that stretch through the left side of the body. Press that the feet into the ground, reach the left fingertips overhead. Feel that lovely bow all the way from the left foot to the left fingertips. And then inhale, bring the hands back down to tabletop position. Okay, we're going to do that exact same thing on the other side now, and then we'll add on to it. Inhale, cat. Exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling. Inhale, you're going to pivot your left foot off the mat now. Press the left foot into the mat. Reach the right leg away and reach the right arm up. Exhale, pivot the right hand towards the front of your mat. Reach the right arm overhead. Let's take a pause here for a few breaths. So really press into that right foot now. Press into the left knee and see, does that help you reach the right ribs up a little bit more? Reach the right fingertips overhead now, watching that shoulder there, making sure you're not pressing too much into the shoulder joint. Inhale, reach the arm up again, and exhale, back to tabletop position. We're going to add on to that now. So inhale, cat. Exhale, cow, reach the spine up towards the ceiling. Inhale, pivot right foot off the mat, reach the left arm up. Exhale, left arm comes overhead. Inhale, back to all fours. Exhale, now step that. Now we're going to do our step forward here, so I'm going to do it slowly. Step the right hand kind of into the center of your mat, come up onto the fingertips. Step the right foot to the outside of that right hand, and then place the right hand over again, to the right side of the mat. What I'm doing there is trying to create a little bit of space. Now, by all means, you can actually just step the foot in between the hands if you find the step forward is easy enough for you. But just getting that arm out of the way can help people who find it a little bit tricky to step that leg forward. So if you're not finding it difficult, then just literally step the foot forward just inside the right hand there, and you don't have to be moving that hand around. Okay, we're going to stay with the feet, that left knee down now. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up high. And now here we are in our low lunge. Let's check the position of our hips now. So bring your hands down to your hips there, press your fingers into those hip bones. Lift the hip bones up and squeeze the back of the hips there now. So squeeze those buttocks muscles there. And that is going to help the hip flexor to open up and press the hip back, or stack it even. So it doesn't quite come to a backwards position, but we don't want it tilting forward over that front leg until you feel a nice stretch for the front of that hip there. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, hold onto the left wrist with your right arm and hinge over to the right hand side. So here we are now in our side bend again. So if you're finding your balance is a little bit tricky, just step that right foot further over to the right side of your mat. As we're hinging, sometimes it can be a little bit tricky with the balance. Inhale, reach the arms up high again. And exhale, hands either side of the front foot. Step that right foot back to tabletop position. We're going to do the same thing the other side. Now you could stay at the top of your mat. I'm just flipping around so I don't have my back to you. Inhale to cat. Exhale into cow. Inhale, spin that left foot off the mat now, reach the right leg away from you. reach the right arm up. Exhale, reach the right arm overhead. Lift that right waist up now. Feel the nice spread of the rib cage there. Inhale, back to all fours. Exhale, step the left foot forward now. So either moving the hand if you need to. I'm just going to continue talking the language of just to the inside of the left hand. Keeping that right knee down now. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Let's take a moment here again. Press fingertips into those hip bones. Lift that pelvic bowl, so that lovely stacked pelvis. Just indulge me here. I'll give you a little demo. So we don't want it tipping forward. We want it tipping up. Now it's not going to tip back particularly, but we want it to tip, definitely stand up, so that we can feel that lovely stretch through the hip flexor here. Inhale, reach the arms up high, and exhale, hold on to the left wrist with the right wrist with the left hand now, and hinge over to your left hand side, bringing that left foot further off to the left side of your mat if you feel that as you hinge, your balance is getting a little bit too tricky. Breathe into the right rib cage here now. Inhale, reach the arms up high again. Exhale, hands either side of the front foot and stepping it back to your tabletop position. Okay, we're going to do a similar thing now. We're just going to add in a standing version of the lunges just to get a little bit of activity in the legs there now. And we're going to move through it with the breath. So starting to speed our practice up just a little bit. Inhale, cat. Exhale, into our cow. Inhale, pivot right foot off the mat, reach the left arm up. Exhale, reach that left arm overhead, lift the left rib cage up. Exhale, back to all fours. Inhale, step that right foot forward just to the inside of the right hand. And then exhale here. On our next inhale, we're going to lift that left knee, place both hands on the right knee, and reach the arms up high on an inhale. So we're in standing pose, so you definitely want to make sure that the feet are nice and wide here. Look for those hip bones again. See, are they being pulled forward by the hip flexors, which quite possibly they can be. A way to get around that a little bit is a slight bend in the left knee until you feel that this is opened up a little bit enough, and then you can gently start to press through that left heel. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, holding on to the left wrist with the right hand hinging over to your right side now. Breathe into the left lungs. Inhale, reach the arms up high. And exhale, we'll just take it into a gentle twist to the right hand side. So right hand to the back of the mat, left hand to the front of the mat. Inhale, spin the arms up, reach them up high again. Exhale, hands either side of the front foot, and just step it back to tabletop position. Okay, same flow on the left side now. Inhale into our cat. Exhale into our cow. Inhale, pivot the left foot off the mat, reach the right leg away from you now. Reach the right arm up. Exhale, palm to face forward, reach that right arm overhead, lift the right rib up. So press into that left knee to help lift the ribs up. Exhale, back into tabletop position. Inhale, step the left foot just to the inside of the left hand there now, and exhale here. Inhale, tuck right toes under, hands on the left knee if you need to help that, lift that right knee up. On your next inhale, reach the arms up high. Let's actually, before we reach the arms high, check those hips again, have a little micro bend in that back knee if you need to. It's all about the squeeze in the back of the hips here now. That's what's going to help you to tilt the pelvis up and back. Little bend in the knee, squeeze into that back hip there, even give it a bit of a tap, make sure it's working. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, holding on to right wrist with the left hand, hinging over to your left hand side now. Feel the space through the left ribs there, right ribs. Inhale, reach the arms up high. And then exhale, we're just going to take one twist to the left now. Reach the left arm back, right arm forward. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, hands either side of the front foot. Step that left foot back and find your way to tabletop position again. Okay, we're going to move now on to a slightly different flow. And we're going to bring it into standing side stretches. So we'll start again in the same way. Inhale into our cat and exhale into cow. Inhale, spin the right foot off. So hopefully it's starting to flow a little bit juicier now as you get used to it. And exhale, reach that left arm overhead. Inhale, back to all fours. Exhale, step that right foot just between the right, or just inside the right hand there. One more inhale here. And then exhale, step the left leg forward. So coming up to the top of our mat now. Inhale, we'll come up halfway, press the hands into the knees, reach the chest forward. Exhale, folding down. I keep a bend in my knees for these because I feel my hips aren't ready for a forward fold yet. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. So we're going to do a little standing flow here in the middle of our sequence. And we're going to come into side stretches. So inhale, reach the arms up high. And then exhale, place the right foot behind or to the side of your left foot and hinge over to the left side. You can bring that left hand down and reach the right arm up and over. And then we're just going to flip it over with the breath now. So inhale, reach arms, come back to center. And then exhale, left foot to the outside of the right hand or the right foot. Reach the right hand down, reach left arm over. Okay, we're going to do a few of them with the breath now. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, left foot or right foot behind. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, left foot behind. One more round. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, right foot behind. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, left foot behind. Whoop, wrong arm. Inhale, reaching. So just both feet planted on the ground. And then exhale, reach the arms behind you and step that left foot back into arrowhead. Now, listen carefully for the next transition. On our next inhale, we're going to place our left elbow on our left knee, plant that right elbow on right knee, plant that left foot and reach the left arm up and over. So we've sneakily found our way into Parsvakonasana. That's our inhale there. On our exhale, we're going to spin the arms up and find our warrior. So just checking the position of your feet, making sure that they're wide enough so that that right knee isn't overshooting the right ankle. Inhale into our reverse. So continue breathing. I'm going a little bit slower here because it's a new flow. So you continue breathing between each pose. So find this lovely back or side bend now as we come into the standing poses. And then we're going to inhale into goddess pose. So the feet are at a 45-degree angle and we're facing to the side of our mat. Look for those hip bones again. We're trying to lift them up. So this area here, tightness here, will be pulling the hips forward and we're trying to keep the knees open and lift them up as a directional thing, not as a goal. Okay, we're going to take our side bends here now. So inhale, reach the arms up high. And then exhale, place left hand on left knee, reach the right arm up and over. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, right hand, right knee, reach the left arm up and over. We'll do one more round then. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, left hand, left knee, reach the arms over. Inhale, both high. Exhale, right hand, right knee, reach left arm over. Inhale, reaching. Then exhale, pivot the feet around to the front of the mat. Hands at the side of the front foot and stepping it back to your tabletop position. Okay, we're going to do that little sequence on the left side now. So starting with the flow that you're very familiar with now. Inhale into cat. Exhaling into cow, lifting the spine up towards the ceiling. Inhale, pivot the left foot off the mat now. Reach the right leg away, reach the right arm up. Exhale, reach that right arm overhead, lift the right rib up, press into the left knee. Inhale, back into tabletop position. Then exhale, step that left foot forward just inside the left hand. Inhale here. Exhale, step the right leg forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway, hands to knees, reach the chest forward. Exhale, folding down. Inhale, press into your feet, reach the arms up high. And exhale, hands down, the midline in prayer position. We'll take our little side stretches again. So this time you might want to try it with your knees bent. So you're taking the side stretches with the legs in a kind of a micro chair pose. It's kind of just gets a little bit of activity into the legs too, but we can still take a nice bend through the upper body. So that's what my lower body would be doing. I'm going to face you this way so that you can see what I'm doing with my upper body. So knees bent, hips dropping down towards the back of the heels. Start to feel a nice stretch through the back of the calf muscles there. Inhale, reach the arms up high. And then exhale, left hand comes down, right arm reaches overhead. So we're not obviously going to bring the foot behind the left foot now. We're just going to keep both feet planted. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, right arm down, left arm reaching over. Inhale, both reaching. Exhale, right arm reaching. Inhale, both. Exhale, left arm reaching. And then inhale to come up at the top of your mat. And then exhale, arms behind you. Step your right leg back now, find your way into arrowhead with the left leg forward. So we're going to do our sequence, our warrior sequence on the left side now. Okay, so just listen carefully now for this transition again. Left elbow on left knee. Circling our right arm up and around and finding our way into Parsvakonasana. And then exhale into our warrior. Inhale into our reverse. And exhale back to our goddess pose. We're going to do another little bit of work in our goddess pose. Let's just shimmy the hips from side to side. Just find a nice, comfortable warrior position for those hips. Press into the big toe mound there to help open the knees out to the side. Lift those hip bones up as much as is comfortable for you. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Next time, we're going to interlace the fingers, reach the fingers up towards the ceiling. If this is too much on your shoulders, just keep the arms reaching. Inhale here, then exhale, hinge the whole body to the left side. Inhale back to center, exhale, hinge to the right. Inhale back to center, exhale, hinge to the left. Inhale, exhale, hinge to the right. So stick with it, one more round. Inhale, center, exhale, left. Inhale, center, exhale, right. Inhale to reach, the legs are relieved with that. Exhale, pivot the feet to the top of your mat, hands either side of your front foot, and stepping it back to tabletop position. Okay, so we have time to go through that flow, left and right side, one more time before we take it into our restorative part of our practice. So let's just move with one pose per breath this time and go nice and fluidly. We're going to stop in the middle and take our side stretches. The first one will be where we flip the foot behind or to the left side and then to the right side. And the second round, when we're on the left side, we'll be in our chair position version. Okay, but I'll talk you through it all. Inhale into cat, let the belly soften, lift the pelvic floor. Exhale, feel the shoulder blades spread across your back into our cow. Inhale, pivot that right foot off to the side, reach the left leg away, reach the left arm up. Exhale, left arm overhead, lift those left ribs now. Exhale, or inhale, left hand comes back down, come to tabletop position. Inhale, step that right foot forward just to the inside of the right hand. Exhale, step the left leg forward, folding down. Inhale, coming all the way up. We're not going to do our half forward pose this time. And then exhale, we're going to come straight into our side stretches. So exhale, left foot to the right foot to the outside of the left foot, reach the right arm overhead. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, left foot to the outside of the right foot, left fingers reach overhead. Only one round of them now. Inhale, reaching up now. Exhaling into arrowhead with the left foot reaching back. Inhaling, planting the right elbow on the right knee, plant that left foot on the ground, reach the right arm up and over. Exhale into our warrior. Inhale into our reverse. Keep those hips nice and low here. They often pop up for reverse. And then exhale into goddess pose. Shimmy the hips a little bit if that feels good for you. Lift those hip bones. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, left elbow to left knee, reach the right arm over. Inhale, reaching high. Exhale, right elbow to right knee, reaching the left arm over. Inhale, reaching high. Exhale, hands either side of the front foot and stepping it back to tabletop position. That's the left side done, so we'll just need to do the right side now. Or other way around, right side done. Okay, inhale to cat. Exhaling into cow. Inhale, pivot that left foot off your mat now, reach the right leg away, reach the right arm up. So last chance to do this lovely side stretch. Exhale, reach the left arm overhead. Pause here. Lift those ribs up. Squeeze into that left ribs. Inhale, back into your tabletop position. Exhale, step that left foot forward. Taking a inhale here. And then on next exhale, step the right foot forward, folding down. Inhale, reach the arms up high. And then exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. Okay, inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, again, remembering into our chair position legs. Inhale, and then exhaling, hinging to the left side, reaching the right arm over. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, hinging to the left side, or the right side, left arm over. Inhale, reaching, stand up nice and tall here now. Exhale, arrowhead with the left leg back, or right leg back, so the left foot is forward. Inhale, place left elbow on left knee, reach the right arm up and over. Exhale into our warrior. Check the feet, make sure you're happy with their position. Inhale into our reverse. Press that left foot down now, reach through the left fingertips. And then exhale into our goddess pose. Shimmy those hips a little bit of movement. Press into the big toe mound, lift the arches and really squeeze those knees open, hips lifting. Inhale, reach the arms up high. This time remembering we're going to either reach the arms or take the bind and press the palms away. Exhale, hinging over to your left side. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, reaching over to your right side. Inhale, reaching. We'll do one more round of these. Exhale, left. Inhale, reach. Exhale, right. Inhale, lengthen everything up. Exhale, hands either side of the front foot and stepping it back to tabletop position. Well done. So that's your standing flows done. So we're going to come onto our backs now and start into the restorative part of our practice. So now it's a beautiful warm day here, but if you're somewhere where it's a little bit cooler, make sure that you have close by, so you might not need them on immediately, but have kind of socks and layers on. Make sure that you stay lovely and cozy and warm so that you allow your nervous system to relax. It's not going to relax if you find that you haven't addressed the temperature of your body. We're going to come onto our backs now. So just come over to your left hip, spin the legs forward and come all the way down onto your back. Reach the arms overhead and taking another opportunity to take a side bend. So start to walk both of your feet over to the right side of your mat and keep the hips where they are, and then walk your arms and your upper body to the right side of your mat. So coming into this, I think it's called banana pose, where you're kind of taking a lovely bow. The hips are in the center of your mat. The feet have been walked over to the right side, upper body and the arms are walked over to the right side also. And then sometimes as well, which is nice, if you want to intensify the stretch a little bit, you can place the right foot, you can hook the left foot on top of the right foot there, just to bring a little extra stretch into that side of the body. You can also hold on to the left wrist, but I wouldn't pull it. I'd be very careful with that shoulder joint. It's almost just to anchor it down in position as it stretches. And then just walking everything back to center again. Let's just take a moment here with everything kind of hip distance and shoulder distance. See, can you notice stiffness between both sides? Might be subtle enough now because we've done loads of side stretching. And then we'll come over to the left-hand side. So starting with the legs, walk your feet over to the left corner of your mat there, and then start to walk your upper body over to the left corner of your mat. And just deciding if this feels lovely, or do you want to hook that right foot on top of the left ankle there? Or maybe holding on to the right wrist with your left hand, but gently just holding it, and don't pull the shoulder there. And feeling this lovely stretch all the way through the right side of the body now. Feel the light stretch of the skin around your waist here now. Start to travel into the sensorial part of the practice. And then just coming back to center again. We're going to take a few breaths in constructive rest, just finding neutral. So constructive rest is where we come onto our back, bend the knees, place the feet mat distance apart, and let the knees knock in together. It's a lovely pose that kind of opens the back there, the back of the pelvis there, and with the knees knocked in together, there's very little effort in the legs. Gravity is keeping them in space. Palms facing up. Let's just take a few breaths here. To come around to the idea of allowing ourselves a little bit of relaxation for the second part of our practice. So notice, does this come naturally to you, or do you have to kind of help yourself a little bit, ease yourself into it? And it's in that exercising the muscles of easing yourself in is where we are working towards helping ourselves off the mat, moving from doing to non-doing. Even if you find it easy to come into relaxation, you're still strengthening that pathway. The neuroplasticity of our brains has been strengthened towards the malleability from doing to non-doing. Okay, so rolling over to your right-hand side now, just coming up to a seated position. Just kind of ready for, I'm almost going to do just a prep pose for our main pose, both being side bends. So for this one, you're going to have a brick at the top of your mat there, where your head will, or beyond where your head will be. You're going to grab your bolster and put it in the middle of your mat. So your waist is going to drape over your bolster. Now, depending on what type of bolster you have, mine is quite a thick one. There's like these rounder ones, or there's the flatter ones. The flatter one would probably be more suitable for my body length, but this one is getting a little bit flattened with use, so it's probably all right. But if you have a thick bolster, you might be better off to roll blankets. So if you need to roll blankets, just open your blankets out and roll them up to get kind of a reasonably thick wedge, but maybe a little bit lower than your bolster if you feel that it's going to be too big for you. And of course, you can try it first and adjust. Always throughout your restorative, it's about how it feels for you and adjusting all the way to make sure that it suits you. So just preparatory side bend. The legs are just kind of half bent there. We don't quite want them completely bent because we're still going to try and stretch out through that top hip there. So maybe even have the left knee, sorry, I'm on my left hip here. Maybe have the left knee kind of at a 45-degree angle, and then the right leg a little less so. I'm not going to get too caught up on angles here, but it's stretching away a little bit more. The reason why we're bending them a little bit, because it's quite hard to balance when the whole body is in one line when we're draping ourselves over a bolster. So always remembering to lengthen up through the spine before we take any sort of side bends, twists. And exhale, just start to drape yourself over your bolster, coming onto your left shoulder. and then bringing the head down to the ground. What you're going to do with that brick is just use it to kind of almost cause a little bit of a space between the left arm and the right arm, so that that right shoulder isn't being pulled quite so hard in its socket. So this is a strong stretch. This is just to prepare us for our more restorative version of our side bend. Now, really feeling the sensations of the breath now in the right ribs and the right lungs. And even though the breath is most certainly coming into both lungs, it almost feels like the majority of the breath really is coming into the right side of the body here in such a strong side bend. It's incredibly replenishing for the nervous system and for the lung tissue. So you might notice that the more you stretch that right leg away from you, so as you settle into the pose, it might feel nicer to explore reaching that right leg away from you here. Really finding your gentle breath here. Notice it just becoming a little bit more rhythmic. Okay, we're not going to hold that one for too long, so just bend both knees now. Leave your brick there. Press your right hand into the mat to lift yourself up. Now I'm going to swap my brick or my props to the other side of the mat so that I don't have my back to you, but all you need to do is literally just roll onto your right hip now. We're going to do the same thing on the right side. So now the right knee is bent at kind of a 45-degree angle. The hips are stacked here. And then the left leg is reaching away, but it's this soft bend in the knee, and you can play around with that when we come into our position. Lengthen up through the spine on your inhale, and then exhale, drape your waist over the bolster or your blanket. Reach the right arm away, head down towards the ground, or if it feels better, you can place the head on your upper arm there. Placing the brick between the hands now just to help that left shoulder stay in shape. And then maybe just see what it feels like to reach that left leg away from you here now, to further increase the stretch through the left side of the body. Feel the breath now deeply in the left lungs. Feel the lovely space that we've created between each of the left ribs. Feel that stretch through the whole left side of the body. And even the stretch in the shoulder there, the armpit. And not only feeling the muscles stretching and the gaps between the bones, but the skin stretching too. And just bending that left knee now, getting ready to come up. And now you can keep your arrangement where it is. We're just going to add on to that now. I'm just moving to the back now. Make sure that you can see me. So you're going to keep that brick overhead. We are going to add a little bit of more comfort to that side bend now. So we're going to add our brick pillow, and we're going to pop a blanket on top of that. So you'll be probably becoming familiar with this one. If anyone of you did my restorative workshop last night, we did this one as part of it. You are going to get your 2 blankets. We're going to take them in a 4-fold, which is that kind of a fold. We're going to fold it over in 2 again, and then we're going to fold it again. So you've got like a smaller rectangle. So starting with your 4-fold again, do the same for the second one. So that's your 4-fold. You're going to fold it over one more time, and then again. And we're going to stack those 2 blankets on top of each other. So those ones you'll have to the left side of your mat there. We're going to start with the left hip again. So have them ready. They're going to come in between our knees just to lift that right hip up. We have our bolster, which is going to be at our waist. We have our brick pillow there, and then our other brick overhead, which is an optional part of the pose. Okay, so let's pop the blankets between the legs here now before we come to lie down. So just making sure that you're happy with the height of them. You can bring them lower by taking one away. You can bring them higher by just folding further that top one either. So that feels quite nice. And you can bring it down in between the feet so that the feet are supported too. Inhale, lengthen up through the spine again, and then exhale, really slowly draping yourself over your bolster. Reach the left arm forward and then place the left side of your head there on your brick. Okay, so just before we add the right arm into it, making sure you're absolutely happy with everything in the pose. So the hips are stacked and you really are on the little curve of your left waist there now. So your whole body is stacked to the side. We're not tipping forward and we're not tipping back. Inhale, reach the right arm up, and then exhale, bring the right arm overhead and just drape the fingertips around your brick. So that part of the pose is optional. If it's a little bit uncomfortable for you to have that right arm reaching overhead, you can just simply place the right hand on your bolster or on top of the left hand or down on your left or your right hip, wherever it feels comfortable for you. And I take it overhead part of the pose, and then I usually bring it back down again. Bring back to the breath again now. Noticing the rise and fall, particularly at the right side of the body. Rising with the inhale and gently coming back down with your exhale. Feel the press of the bolster in the curve of your waist there on your left side. And feel the lightness, the air, the space on the right side. Check in with the legs now. Make sure that right leg is settling into the blankets. Make sure that left hip is okay. Is it happy on the mat there? Do you need an extra blanket just underneath that hip to soften your seat? And always remembering not to be too precious with your pose when you come into it. If you find an area that needs addressing, adjust. It's so important to adjust. You're getting close to your breath now. Maybe if you had the right arm overhead, might be nice to just take it back down now for the last few moments of this side of the pose. And just gently getting ready to move, not moving quite yet, but just getting ready to move. Just starting to send little signals through the muscles of the body, just to give them a gentle nod that we're on our way to the other side now. And in your own time, when you're ready, press your right hand into the mat there to gently lift your head up, coming to your seated position. So what you're going to do is literally just place the hands behind your back there and swing your legs with the blankets and all until you're on your right hip there. I'm going to swap the other end of my mat. Okay, so you're on your right side now, but do take a moment to sit up nice and tall first rather than just coming straight down on top of your bolster. So press your right hand into the mat there now, lengthen up through the spine. And then you can bring your hand to the area that's coming onto the bolster, the curve of your waist there as it gently drapes over your bolster. Popping your left side or the right side of your head on your brick. Checking to make sure that those leg support blankets are cozy and in position. Right arm reaching forward, just gently draping out the socket there and reaching forward, palm facing up. Left arm, palm to face towards the top of your mat. Reach the arm overhead. And just finding that brick now and just letting the fingertips curl around the brick. We're not particularly holding it, we're just curling the fingertips around the brick. Feeling the breath now in the left lung tissues. Feel the space between the vertebrae on the left side of your spine. Feel the space between the ribs. Feel that lovely stretch across the skin of your waist and the left side of your body. And scanning through your whole body now, from your toes all the way to the tip of your crown, rooting out any little areas that you might be holding unnecessary tension. Do you habitually hold tension in a singular part of your body, or maybe there's a few parts of your body? Lots of us hold tension in our shoulders. Are you holding anything in your jaw there? Can you really relax the skin across your forehead? Can you create this space between your temples? How heavy can you make your body supported on the bolsters on your mat? Can you really let all the muscles switch off and take a break? Enjoying these last 2 moments of silence on this right side. Always coming back to your breath, using it to anchor you down into your practice if your mind starts to wander. Getting ready to move now. Place your left hand down on the mat. Press into it to really gently and so slowly help lift you up. So we're going to come into Shavasana now. If you want to pop the bolster towards the end of your mat now, we're going to put the knees over that. And then we're just going to create one of our neck rolls for the head there. So I'll just go through a neck roll again. So bolster towards the end of your mat now for your knees. And then your neck roll is going to be a 4-fold blanket. And then rolling from the short end, you roll it up about 2 or 3 times and then just pop that up at the head end of your mat. Swing the legs around, pop the knees on top of the bolster there. Use the hands either side of you to gently bring yourself down all the way onto your mat. And then just nuzzle the roll of your blanket end, or the roll end of your blanket in the space at the back of your neck there now. So you want it to just fill the gap between your mat and your neck. We're not looking to lift it in any way at all. We're just supporting the cervical spine there. There's also these little sensors at the back of your occipital curve there, the little shelf at the back of your neck there. It's where we hold a lot of tension. It's where a lot of headaches come from. So this little neck roll is very good for supporting that area if you find that you get headaches a lot. Palms either facing up towards the ceiling or facing down, depending what you need for your Shavasana. Facing up is a little bit more cooling and lets the senses switch off from the fingertips. Facing down can be quite grounding and soothing. Tracing through the body now one more time, checking to make sure everything's happy. Notice the points of body in contact with the ground. So if you have the bolster under the knees, starting with the backs of the heels, backs of the knees, back of the hips, shoulder blades, the upper back, back of the head, back of the upper arms, and the back or the front of the hands. These points of the body that are receiving the support of the bolster, the mat, the ground, the earth underneath you. And just settling here into your Shavasana for the last few moments of your practice. Ready to move now. Maybe even bringing a little bit of movement into your fingertips and your toes. Bending the knees and rolling over to your right hand side. And taking your time to come back into your day. Use your left arm to support you, so press the palm into the ground. And gently lift yourself up. So starting with, or leaving your head last. So it's just really gently coming up to a seated position. And find your way to a comfortable seated position. Hands in prayer position at your heart when you arrive there. Thumbs to your third eye, to your lips, to your heart center. Namaste. And well done. Thank you for practicing with me. So if you have any questions, always happy to help. You'll find me at ruth@yogaroo.ie. And this recording will be going up later on today, and you can practice this as many times as you like. I look forward to seeing you again next week.